Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with two comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
You know, it helps when I do these things if I put myself on screen. That's always fun. What's up, the internet? It's me. It's Kyle. How's it going? Welcome into the EXP Expo 2022, the one with all the twos. Because it's the second EXP Expo. It's 2022. Like, it's, yeah, a lot of twos here. I've already lost my train of thought. I'm already off the rails. Let me bring in my guest, the big dog himself, the only person in comics who can pull off this set of headphones. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Hutchison.
For real. For real. It's not even Catterday, and I've got these on.
Right, exactly. But we are here to talk about a cat, and we'll get to Critter here in a minute.
For sure.
But I first want to say, Tom, thank you. You've done every one of these things we've ever done, by the way.
I'm a glutton for punishment.
Well, you're one of the first names on the list every time. And it's because you always have something cool happening. Like, you manage to stay busy. You've always got a Kickstarter or a new project or a new thing you're figuring out, or you're doing a live stream of some kind. So, thank you for that.
Yeah, sure.
So tell the world, basically me, Joey, and Trish, and everybody else who's watching.
The world of four people, yes.
Right. Well, if you're out there and you're watching, say hi so we know you're here.
Correct. Yes, please. Shout it out.
Yes. Tell us what you're up to other than accurately predicting football scores and reminding us why movies are bad.
3-0 on the playoffs so far. 3-0 on the playoffs so far. That's all I'm saying. 3-0. So I'm ready to dash hopes and dreams with the Cowboys and the 49ers coming up next. I'm ready to destroy somebody's hope. Yeah, it's 2022. I like that. The one with all the twos. That's good. 2022 is many things for Big Dog Inc. It is at its base our 12th year of publication. We've been doing this now for 12 long years. It is the 10-year anniversary of Ursa Minor. We'll be starting a 10-year run of Kickstarters in March. It is the return of Princesses versus Zombies. It is the return of the now annual Goth Day book. But starting 2022 off with a gigantic bang is this right behind me. We are doing a Kickstarter, which is live right now. Basically almost half funded, despite the ridiculous number that we need to hit for a Critter action figure. Critter was the first book that I ever started to write when I decided, hey, what if I tried to write something as far as a comic goes? Critter was it. And so Critter right now is live on Kickstarter. We have 140 backers. We're at 17 one something. So halfway to the goal already in just 24 hours. Well, 25 hours now. We started yesterday at 25 hours. It's been a huge success already, and we haven't really even technically succeeded, but being halfway through in 25 hours tells me we're probably going to be fine. So yeah, this is
weird
the
that
big
17 grand in you're
and
going,
not be funded.
We haven't hit the number yet.
We're not even halfway there yet, dude. I know. I feel like I'm already halfway through a campaign, and I'm like, shit, we're not going to make it. But it's only 25 hours, so no, it's been really great. And when you kind of when you're doing a campaign like this, it's so different than doing comics. You kind of have to really actively reset your brain for the expectations of it. How many backers, how much money, what pledges are being picked up faster than others. So it's a complete reset in my brain, and I'm really struggling with it. But so far it's been really great as well. And I don't think we'll have a problem hitting this goal. And making Critter action figure. I mean, legitimately, these are not just like 3D printed at home. This is like, you can see, this is 30 points of articulation. There's 2 versions of it. There's the classic blue. This is the modern blue that you're seeing there. There's the classic blue right there. So there's 2 versions. I mean, this is a legitimate, real action figure with collector's box and the whole thing. If you guys have been following like Brian Polito and Coffin Comics, they do figures for Lady Death and La Muerta and so on. Basically same company, right? So it's the same scale, same sort of body type, same sort of articulation type, same sort of box type. It will all scale together with those figures that you guys already know. Dynamite Comics as well, same thing. They have that Vampirella that's coming out, and I think a Purgatory, something like that. Exact same company, same thing. So all these figures will be able to stand right next to each other and be like in perfect scale, so that you can have them all punch each other out.
Right. Ron Shepard, if you're in the comments, Ronald is a regular here on the Experience who loves the statues and stuff from Dynamite. This is something you need for your collection, my friend.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
Right, it's going to scale. It's going to fit. It's good. Okay. Explain something to me.
Yeah. Okay.
I have never in my life thought, you know what I want to do? Make an action figure of a character I created.
Sure.
So what is the thought process like? And then what is the process like of getting to this point where you've got this incredibly beautiful action figure that's made up of something that at one point was just this crazy idea you had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually just had this conversation on Facebook like 10 minutes ago. Somebody posted in a couple of the groups that I'm in, like, hey, has anybody ever done figures? Like, how do you do it? How much is it? And I was like, ding, we're doing this right now, dude. And he was like, how did you do this? So basically it came down to a few factors. The first to get this done is 12 years of publication. Okay. Critter's been around for 12 years. This is not like we started a book yesterday and we have action figures. So we have 12 years of Critter in existence. We have consistent fan response to the book. We have consistent fan asking for, hey, are you gonna ever do toys or statues or anything? So we have that interest there. 3 is basically my head just froze. How do I say this? Interacting with people outside of just like the comic book world. Like, it's great to talk to people that do comics and so on, but you have to be able to be able to chat with people that make toys and make statues and make TV shows and make movies and whatever. You have to be able to kind of do the social networking that can throw a line out that, you know, with your IP worm, like, here's my Critter thing, please somebody take a bite. And then eventually somebody takes a bite, and that's where we are. Executive Replicas and Loose Collector, they came to me. Literally, they came to me. They said, hey, we've seen your stuff. This is really cool. This is what we do. Do you want to do something like this? And I was like, yeah, let's go. And I've always said that comics is what I'm here for. I'm here to write comics, make comics, produce comics, publish comics, art, all that kind of stuff. Anything else that comes around, toys, TV shows, whatever, that's the icing on the cake. I'm not saying that I don't want it, but that's not my goal. So when this came around, I was like, wow, somebody's putting icing on my cake, and this is freaking awesome. And this was last year. We started doing this last year, like last summer, because they had to start, doing the molds and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, wow, this is actually really going to happen. When I saw the figure, I was like, holy God, this looks amazing. And now here we are 25 hours into the campaign, and we're halfway there.
Nice. I'm trying to get it so that Critter will be our background here. And that'll scale properly, because otherwise it's just a boob shot.
It's just a boob shot, which is fine. It's fine.
There we go.
Hey, boom. There we go. I like that. That's good. Very good.
It was like, it took me a minute. I had to put it together, but we got her. So you paired up with this company that makes these things, and then is there a back and forth as to, well, can you make the hair more like this, and can you make and how do you come to 30 points of articulate? And that's what I want. I want to get into the weeds.
The articulation was all them. I mean, that's basically what they do. Like, I mean, they know that this is how we make toys. This is how we do toys. So we're going to take what we do and wrap your figure around what we do. So that part was just them. I mean, the mold itself, though, I mean, they basically do it in a 3D modeler. So they'll be like, okay, here's sort of how the body will look. Here's how the belt buckle will look. Here's how the hair will look. Here's how the face will look. And we went back and forth. It was like, okay, no, we need to fix the face. We need to fix the eyes. At one point they had the boobs just like ridiculous. And I was like, no, this is not Lady Death. Scale that back and you know, make it more representative of the character, and so on and so on. And they were very receptive, 100%. They were like, okay, we're gonna do this until you're happy. And I was like, awesome, great. And finally we reached a point where I was like, dude, this is it. We're solid, we're good. And then one of the cool things was, one of the reasons we chose Critter was I knew we could do 2 versions of the figure just through paint apps. So we wouldn't have to do extra sculpting, which would add extra costs. And they were like, yeah, that makes total sense. We can totally do that. And that's why we have the classic blue and the modern blue, which also would help us sell more figures, just because to sell 1,000 of one single figure, because we have to make 1,000 print run of these things, would be very difficult. But if we can split that into 2, that's way more manageable. And based on the sales from the campaign, 100% people were like, yo, I want both of these figures, and they're just diving in. So that was smart. That was it was an accurate assumption, and here we are.
Nice. So with Critter, last year was Critter's 10th anniversary, right?
Yes, 2020. No, sorry, 2020 was the 10-year anniversary.
Okay.
We're in 2022 now. So yeah, it's a little
time is an irrelevant construct. Sure.
Correct. Yes. So many years ago, it was 10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been at this project for a whole year, just getting this figure.
Mhm.
You got 12 years of publication on the book.
Mhm.
Is there a point at which Critter you've gotten to the point where you're like, okay, I've said everything I need to say about this character. I've told all the stories I want to tell with this character.
Oh, no, we're not even close. Not even close. Not remotely close. I had this conversation yesterday too. I was like, I know what happens in Critter issue 100, and we're only at Critter issue 21 right now. 21 plus all the miniseries and stuff that we've done on the side. So there's a long way to go for Critter. There's much more. And it only gets more and more fun as we go. So I'm really excited to get back to it. We ran into all these other anniversaries, or some minor Legend of Oz last year, 10-year anniversaries. So we're kind of using those moments in time to kind of hyper focus on those books. But once we get out of those big anniversaries, the doors will fling back open for Penny for Your Soul, for Critter, for Kaiju Epic, for Lights Camera Jungle, for Antoinette. And we can kind of dive back into everything again. Without the anniversary, of course, then we'll run into the 15-year anniversaries and we'll have to do this all over again.
Right. By the time you get done celebrating the anniversaries, you're on to the next anniversary.
We're on to the next anniversary. That's right. But it's a great thing to have, when you consider that basically in Big Dog Inc.'s existence, every year we added a new title for a period of time. And now we get to celebrate 10 years Penny, 10 years Critter, 10 years Oz, 10 years Ursa, 10 years Scheherazade. It's like, damn, that feels like you've accomplished something, and the fans respond to it. Convention promoters, I should say, start to take a little bit notice, like, hey, this guy's still around. What the hell's he doing? And then toy collectors or toy companies are like, yo, you want a Critter toy? Yeah. So, longevity is really hard. Consistency is harder, and all of it can and will pay off if you can sort of hang in long enough, and really maintain your quality level, which is another important thing. Because then you get to be on Kyle's show like 10 times.
Are you going to sign the figures? We have a question. Are the figures going to be available signed?
That's a possibility. It is a possibility. We've had actually a lot of people asking that, which kind of surprised me. We haven't really done a lot of signature stuff, but a lot of that was because the comics that we did were often fulfilled thousands of miles away from me. So there was no way for me to be in the room with the books. In the case of the toys, it is possible that I will be where they are when we are shipping them. So that's going to be kind of a late thing that we figure out. Probably through Backer Kit, when we do our surveys and so on. We also need to get a production schedule from the guys, because basically we don't want to really do anything until we're funded. Once we're funded, then I can basically go, okay, look, we're funded. Let's push go on manufacturing. How long is it going to take to manufacture, ship, so on? Let's get a real timeline. Like, I'm kind of loosely hoping that maybe by this summer we might be able to have them in our hands, but it might be closer to Christmas. I just don't know. But until we're actually in production, we may not know. So then from there, once I have a production run and I know, yes, we should have figures by X month, then I can figure out, okay, am I going to be in Arizona? Am I going to be in Michigan? Like, where am I going to be? Am I going to fulfill these things myself? Somebody else? How can I do them? We'll figure it out. So that's a really long answer for just a maybe, but that's the real answer is a maybe.
Trish, was it a year ago today we did this the first time? Might have been. Today is the 1 year anniversary of the actual first day of the experience.
Oh, very good. Very good. Very good.
We launched the 16th of January last year. We went 16, 17, 18. This year's 15, 16. Anyhow, calendars are hard. But so that's something to be said, that, you know, that we're setting a date. We're doing our anniversaries, you know. But okay. So we just talked about, you know, longevity here. And it's really cool that you've got all of these anniversaries stacked up back to back to back. But you're not just doing Big Dog Ink stuff now, right? You've got this Dynamite book coming.
Correct. Yeah. This is my first time doing a full book for somebody else, which is Dynamite Comics. And this was last year, a few months after we started doing this critter thing. I talked to Nick Barucci over at Dynamite. We were talking about something else. We were talking about the live shows, selling live comics, and we sell a little bit of Dynamite stuff on my shows now. And while we were talking, I basically just like threw out a kind of a joke. I was like, well, I asked him about Chaos. I was like, what are you guys doing with Chaos stuff? And he was like, oh, this purgatory thing or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. And I said, well, you let me know when you need some Bad Kitty again, you let me know. And he basically, like, minutes later was like, okay, let's do. I was like, oh, okay. Wasn't really prepared for that quick response, but yeah, okay, let's go. And so basically we dove into negotiations on how we want to do this, crowdfunding and so on, who's going to do it. I pitched, basically part of what I pitched was, look, particularly if we're going to do crowdfunding, I mean, I'm not the best crowdfunder on the planet, but I have a following. I have a following of people that understand what I do from a comic standpoint. Dynamite has been doing crowdfunding for a few years now. So I was like, if we're going to do this, let me help art direct this. Let me help sort of build this so that I'm not just writing a script and saying, here you go, and then walking away. Like, I want to be involved in this because I want it to be as awesome as it can be. And so he was like, okay, cool. Tell me what you want to do. And so I was like, well, I'd like to get some BDI artists on the book as far as covers. I pitched him some interior guys. I pitched two interior guys. One that either one would have been fine had they chosen either one. But I knew that one might be sticky just from a timeline standpoint, because I knew he was doing other stuff. And the other, and I didn't know how fast Nick wanted to do this book either. And the other one, I felt confident in that if we wanted to go now, we could probably go now. And that was CB Zane, who was the Let's Go Now guy. And they loved CB stuff. And I was like, okay. And they were like, yeah, let's go now. So immediately I was like, well, here's what I want to do. I want to take this book back to basics. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't really a fan of the changes they did to Bad Kitty back in 2014, 15. With the dual personality thing. I was like, that's not vibing with me. So if it's okay, if you guys are good with it, I'd like to reset the book and send her back to Louisiana and kind of reground her in what she was initially with Chaos, while opening the doors for what we can do. You know, should the book be successful, we can push forward with these threads of ideas that I have for the story. And you know, I'm happy to come back and keep writing the book as long as you guys are happy with it. So we dove in. The book's done. I mean, it's scripted. CB has drawn all the pages. Chris Chua is doing colors. He got COVID, so he's behind a little bit, but he's on the colors. The colors look fantastic. They are in the process of figuring out timelines for campaigns, Kickstarters, Indiegogos, whatever. And as soon as they decide their sort of plan, which that's the only thing I really can't do anything about, once they know, then I will know, and then I will tell you all. And what I'll do is I will give a little teaser here. Pop. There we go. So this is Brian Peterson, Big Dog Inc. artist, and we dragged him along to the book, and so it looks great.
So is there a possibility for a Bad Kitty critter, like crossover piece of art or story? Like
no.
If
not
I think
in
about
this situation.
Cat, like, right. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
I know where
maybe as I think those two, like, together on a piece of art would be really cool looking. Maybe as a stretch goal.
They are, I mean, obviously it's the cat and the cat. So 100%,
right.
I get where you're at. The answer right now would be no. But, Dynamite has done some crossover stuff in the past. They recently did something with Marat Michaels just last year. So, if we can make Bad Kitty sort of viable again, because she's really only had very tiny appearances in Dynamite since Dynamite acquired the Chaos stuff. So if we can make her viable again, then we just open doors to all kinds of stuff that could happen. So yeah.
Right. So you Dynamite people out there, when this happens, all the money, all the money
goes here. Just forget about everything else. All the money goes here. I will tell you that it's a hell of a campaign. I mean, the book looks great. The covers are fantastic. We have a cosplayer who just absolutely blew it out of the water with her cosplay. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. I've been a little bit inside on the current Kickstarter that Dynamite's running, and they do a great job, and you do a great job. And more crowdfunding is becoming this unescapable way of making comics. Like at this point,
real. I mean, it is real right now. Yeah.
At this point, if you're not crowdfunding, what are you even doing? Like,
basically, yeah. In truth, that's very real.
And that's like a last couple of years development that it's gotten to that point, right? Like you were doing it, you were ahead of the curve on it in a lot of ways.
I mean, I tinkered with it a lot of years ago before I got serious about it. I tinkered with it. But we were doing books that people didn't know what they were. Like even Big Dog Inc. people were like, I don't know what this is. I'm like, I know, because it's new. But when we came around and we did Penny for Your Soul, that's when it all changed. That's when everybody was like, oh, Tom's really doing this now. And we started to drag people in, and they realized, okay, this is now the method. It is not comic book stores. It is not Diamond Comics. It is Tom to Kickstarter to us. And that's basically what we've been doing. I mean, obviously online sales and websites and conventions. But as far as like actual production and distribution, it's through Kickstarter, and we send it right to you. So there are stores that carry our stuff, but those are folks that we deal direct with.
Right.
Jesse James and Chris Brown here in Michigan, and Creative Comics down in Indiana, and so on. So if there are stores watching that want to carry Big Dog Inc. stuff, just contact me, and we can absolutely deal direct with you. But our primary focus is the fan base. Sorry, there's a lot of chains between me and the fans when we go through Diamond and stores and so on. When we go direct, it's just us to them, and that kind of simplifies the process. And while we would love to be in comic book stores, it's just not where we are required to be able to be successful anymore. So yeah.
Well, and that's an interesting thing too. I mean, because we're looking at, and I'm talking to other publishers about the problems that we're, and I'm saying problems like I'm being facetious about it a little bit, but there are certain challenges that are going to be more prevalent this year than have been in the past because of supply chain, paper shortage.
Yeah.
I know a guy who runs a print shop who can't get ink. He's got reams and reams and reams of paper. Could run hundreds of thousands of comic books if you wanted him to. Can't get ink.
We got to go into the barter system. I'll give you paper for ink.
Right. It turns into Settlers of Catan.
Right. Yes. I've got
Who has
wood.
cheap for wood? Right, right. But with the crowdfunding, you're keeping your print runs a little more controlled. You're setting your expectations a little more clearly.
Yeah.
And the fans are the ones who really benefit from this, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
there's no, oh, your books are delayed for another week because the Port of Portland's backed up.
Well, and we
Like-
don't print out of country either. So there's nothing there. Everything we do is in the United States. So while we do have bumps in the road, I mean, I've
Sure.
had printer bumps. It's not a situation where it's like, well, it's on a boat somewhere,
Right.
you know, and we're hoping that it'll show up someday. That is a big problem. So we try and keep everything as you know, United States based as we can, just to take, again, some of those chains, those links out of the chain, to help things move a little more smoothly. You know, last year there was COVID problems for my creators, for my printer. I mean, it was a mess last year. Things are, you know, you don't want to say it's normal because nothing's normal right now, but they're moving back towards more normal-ish. So, you know, for us, we're catching up on the things that we got behind on, and that feels really good because now we start to get ahead. Like I said, we're already working on Ursa Minor, which doesn't launch until March. The artist is already working on pages, so we're going to be ahead of the game this year, as we roll into 2022.
And I like that idea of, oh, you can't get a semi driver to deliver this. I'll just drive over. Like,
Correct. Yeah, I'm 2 hours away. I'll just come get it.
Right. It's possible. Like, it's maybe not ideal, but it's possible. And
correct. Yeah.
So
yeah.
with the direct to consumer route you're going, do you have you seen a change in the last 2 years? Like, are you seeing more people getting involved because they can get the product from you a little more readily and a little easier, in that you don't have the same hiccups as everybody else? Or have you seen any kind of diminishing returns because of people are spending less? How has Big Dog been affected by, you know, the stuff other people are dealing with as well?
This will sound really weird, but we haven't been affected. I mean,
that's kind of the best news possible.
Yeah, from a sales standpoint, I should say we haven't really been affected. I mean, even like last year when we did Legend of Oz, the first issue, the second issue we did more, the third issue we did more. So we had that incline. So yeah, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that we haven't been affected, because things could always be better, certainly. But from what did actually happen, we didn't see any sort of reduction in any kind of real capacity, as far as like backers, you know, falling out or not spending as much money or whatever. Last year was basically what we more or less expected it to be. And if we can, I should stop saying we, because it's me. I mean, it's we as far as the company and the artists and everything, but when it all lands back on me as far as all this marketing and everything, if I can get my head out of my ass and you know, sort of focus a little more, which is what I've been doing the last quarter and into this year. So again, so that we can get ahead, we should be able to elevate the infrastructure and make everything move faster and more smoothly, which should then again be like, oh, look, Tom's moving faster now. That should be able to entice new people in, appeal to folks that maybe were like, oh, you're late again. And I'm like, yeah, shit, I know. I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. It's literally me by myself doing, you know, all this shipping. And if I'm shipping, I'm not writing. And if I'm writing, I'm not marketing. And, you know, so
when Tom says increase the infrastructure, it means he's putting a conveyor belt from the garage to the living room to the
that's right. So I can type a sentence, pack a package, ship it, write a sentence, pack a package. Yeah, it's the Lucy
like that
thing.
episode of I Love Lucy.
That's correct. Yeah, it's Lucy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. What's coming through there next?
Right. I love how we had the same exact thought. Like, the obscure reference gun is strong here.
Yeah. So you know, we had a good year. 2020 was a good year. 2021 was a good year. Again, who knows what it would have been without the Corona stuff, but it was still a good year. And now we're at a point where we're pushing forward and getting ahead. And that's what really is exciting to me, is being ahead really for the first time. And like, holy shit, this could get really serious really fast if we can stay ahead, and start really pumping stuff out. That could really change the game for us.
So you're talking about you're laying the groundwork now to get ahead. So you're ahead on Ursa Minor, which is, March.
Mhm.
What steps are you taking from a creative standpoint with your creators to do that? Like, are you just saying, hey, we're ready to go on this earlier than you would have before?
Yeah, basically. And sometimes it's creator schedule as well. It's like, well, I can only start at this time, and I'm like, oh shit, that's gonna be tight. But this is the guy that I want. This is the guy that I need. So we have to work within their schedule to some degree as well. The guy who's doing Ursa Minor basically told me, yeah, I can start in January, and I was like, okay, well, we're gonna start in January then, because let's do this and let's get way ahead, so that basically by the time we get to the launch of the campaign, the book will be well finished. We'll be into issue 2 already, which won't be until July. And then we're just screaming. Then we're just like, holy cow, this suddenly starts to feel easy, if we're that far ahead. So even with Goth Day, I'm giving the script to CB in February, and Goth Day is in May. So we're going to be way ahead, and that really feels really good.
Does that being ahead, what does that give you in terms of sustainability? Like, because I know how I feel when I'm constantly on deadline and I'm constantly going, oh, I've got 2 days to get this thing done. So does being that far ahead, how does that ensure projects for down the line?
Well, I mean, when you're far ahead, you're giving your art teams a lot of time as well, which is great, because shit happens. I mean, people get sick, whatever. I mean, so the more time you can give them, the more time you have in case of problems. So the sooner you can have a finished script in their hands, it's just makes the chain work that much easier. The chain gets stronger as they are able to be like, boom, hey, I know what I have to do. I know when I have to do it. This is it. So, and then as soon as you're finished with a script, you don't have to wait for that book to be finished. You can just write the next script. While that book is being drawn, you're writing issue 2, you're writing issue 3. Once all 3 issues of Ursa are done, I'm writing scripts for next year. So yeah, so it really puts us in a spot where we can really move ahead fast from a production standpoint, at least from me. And if I can have scripts in my back pocket and just be like, as soon as it's ready to go, whap, there it is. That helps immensely. So, in the past few years, for those that don't know, I went through a divorce. I've been bouncing back and forth from the Midwest to Arizona for the last few years. I came to the realization that wasn't possible for me anymore. I wasn't able to do that and do the things that I was doing and maintain any sort of production on Big Dog Inc. So I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'll travel a little bit, but I can't go out for like 6 months and then come back. It just was blowing me up. So last year, 2020 kind of forced that anyway because of COVID, but I was already in that stage of mind where it was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to stay in one place. I have to kind of ground myself and start to build the infrastructure around where I am. Then of course, COVID happened and I couldn't hire anybody. I couldn't do anything. It's like, oh, well, thanks a lot. But now again, as we're coming into 2022, now we're kind of back to where we were early 2020. And it's like, okay, now it's head down, it's push forward, build infrastructure and make everything better.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe you picked the Midwest over, like, I'm outside today. I can't believe you picked the Midwest. Anyhow,
I don't have to go outside like ever. So, based on what I do, it's not like I have a job somewhere that I'm driving through the snow every day. It's like, I can just,
That's fair, but
plus it's ease of use. I mean, it's, travel is easy. I mean, I'm within 2 hours of like 6 states, if I need to do conventions or whatever. And yeah, it's a great spot to do comics.
Right. And, there's a lot of easily accessible small airports.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. So link in the comments right now for the Critter Kickstarter. If you haven't backed it already, make sure you click that link in the Kickstarter in the comments right now. We are 140. We've gotten a couple more, 143 backers.
Yep. Got a couple more.
Yeah, a couple more since we've gone live. Our goal is to have a couple more before we end.
Yeah.
So there are 2 different options. The original blue and what's the name of the other one?
So that's the classic blue, and then there's classic the modern blue. Yeah, modern blue is
modern blue.
Yep.
Nice. So you can get both of them. on here, or either one that you pick, plus a ton of other stuff.
Yeah. If you've never read the books, the comics are all available there. All the volumes of the comics are there. Or if you just want to try out volume 1 and just see if you like it, you can get volume 1. There, we went through the archive. We found some old variants that maybe you've never seen before. We added some variants in there that you know, there's some stuff from like Mike Crome and Jen Broomall and you know, all kinds of people. So Shannon Mayer, etc. So yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff beyond just the toys. So if you're not a toy collector, you can get comics as well.
So, you know, there's a ton of information here about who Critter is and the stories, but here are some more fun shots of the action figure. I love, you know, the amount of articulation in this thing. Like, I'm not a huge action figure collector, but the fact that you can do this with it is freaking huge. Like, that's
well, and especially with her, because I mean, that's her thing. She can move. I mean, that's part of her character, which is even better. It's so perfect for what Critter is that I'm really happy. So there's the boxes, guys. This is a legitimate real toy like you would find at Comic-Con. That's the box mock-up. It might change a little bit, of course, but we wanted to give you a general sense of, you know, what it was going to look like.
Right. And then you've got options of art prints and all kinds of other stuff.
Yes.
From amazing artists.
Yeah. So this is the 2-pack right here. So we actually have a specific tier where you get both of the toys together. So it's $150. That includes your shipping. And if you scroll down right in the middle there, anybody who buys the 2-pack will also get a free added in Keith Garvey variant cover that will be a reprint of Critter #1. So if you've never read Critter, you'll get issue #1 with that special Keith Garvey cover. There's only 200 of those available total. That's it. And they are going very fast.
That is such a killer cover. Keith's such a genius.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
He's so good.
He's amazing.
Trish says she's already made room on the mantle.
Beautiful.
For hers.
Beautiful.
Some other stuff. You've got the trade paperback of Destiny Calls, which is maybe my favorite Critter story yet. You've got a ton of other variants.
Very limited quantities of these things too, guys. Very limited quantity. This is just, I went into the warehouse, the archive, and I'm like, okay, we've got a dozen of these. We got a dozen of these. Let's throw them up on the website, and they're selling very well. So even when we started with a certain number, we're very low on the extras. So if you like any of that stuff, move quickly.
Right. Make sure you get in on this Kickstarter to make sure you get these things before they're not available ever again, anywhere ever.
Correct. And with the toys too, this is a situation where once they're gone, I mean, that's it, guys. There's no like reprinting these things again.
This is Shannon Mayer, right?
That is Shannon Mayer. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's a beautiful piece of art too. Sorry, I'm just, I'm shopping.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead and keep talking, Tom.
Yeah, it's the toys, guys. I mean, we're basically making 500 classic blues. We're making 500 modern blues. That's a little more open-ended, depending on if we have a lot of people come in and they want, more of that modern blue. But we are limiting the classic blue to 500 pieces total. That's it. And then once these figures are gone, once the campaign is over, and we kind of have our print runs in mind for how many modern blues we need, that's it. I mean, this isn't a comic where we can just go back and reprint it anytime we want. So this is basically, I mean, you don't want to say it's one and done. I mean, we can always come back and make more Critter toys, but they wouldn't be the same. She has other costumes and stuff. We might come in and do the Perfection costume. We might do the steampunk Critter, but these figures, when they're done from this campaign, that is how many will exist. And when they are sold out, they're sold out.
To paraphrase our friend Henri, back it when you see it.
Call it as you see it. Call it as you see it.
To paraphrase him.
Yeah, back it. Yeah, back it. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. Back it as you see it. Link in the comments. So, Ursa Major 10-year anniversary coming in March. What can you tell us about what's coming for the Ursa stuff? So there's another 3-issue series coming.
Yes. So basically what we do with our campaigns now is we try and do a story arc in 1 year. With Penny for Your Soul, we had 7 issues that spread out over like 2 years because we were doing other books and so on. But I was like, God, that just takes so long to do it. So what we've been doing, really starting with last year, is with Oz, we do 5 issues worth of content in 3 campaigns. So the first issue is 20 pages. Then issues 2 and 3 are 40 pages. And that's 5 issues worth of content. So that's a story arc. Generally, we do our story arcs in 5 issues.
Right. It's
so you're
100
getting
pages.
5 issues. Right. So you're getting 5
Right.
issues worth of books in 3 campaigns. And that's how we're doing this. That's how we're going to handle it. Yeah.
So you're getting 2 oversized thick books plus a regular size floppy, and it equals 1 trade, and you're doing it over 3 campaigns, which lets people spread out their financials, which is good.
Correct. Yes.
What led you to that model instead of doing 5 20-page books?
It was just time. It really just came down to time. I was like, God damn. I mean, if I do 5 issues, assuming we're doing quarterly books, right? Quarterly Kickstarters, that's only 4 a year. So that's only 4 issues a year total. That's it. That's all we get to do. That's not even 1 story arc for a book. It would take us forever to finish these stories. And knowing that I had these 10-year anniversaries coming up, I was like, I have to figure out a new structure. I have to figure out a different way to do this. And last year it landed us in hot water because we weren't really ready for, God, we have 40 pages to do on this book. The artist needed more time. And it's just like, and that's why I'm really so happy to be ahead now on Ursa Minor, because we won't have that bump in the road with those 40-page books, because he already knows this is how we're doing it. This is our timeline. These are our deadlines. And he's like, yeah, I got it. We're good. So yeah, it was a timing situation, because we want to be able to do that arc, but then we also want to do our other stuff. We want to be able to do the toy. We want to be able to do Goth Day. We want to be able to do Princess Day in November. We want to be able to do other things. We don't do everything on Kickstarter. Not everything. Sometimes we just release stuff on our web store too.
Sure.
But the Kickstarter platform is so much more than just crowdfunding now. It is, but it's also just simply a huge sales platform where people are like, show me what's coming, man. And they're ordering the book ahead of time. I mean, really not unlike Diamond is now. Here's the Diamond catalog. Everything in here comes out in 2 months. Pre-order it now, and it comes out in 2 months. It's the same system. It's just more of like, it's sort of like a, but it's like, it's an event, right? You have like a month or 3 weeks, and it's like, hey, the community is gathering together and we're having a good time and we're making something happen and we're getting cool extras. And it's like a game show sort of mentality where everybody's cheering and yay, we made another goal and whatever. So it's not just simply crowdfunding anymore. And there's so many people that are so ignorant about how and why this works. Like, I see people all the time talking about Brian Pulido. Well, he makes 400,000. He doesn't have to ever do a Kickstarter again. I'm like, no, you don't understand. That's how he makes 400,000. You don't just take a book and put it on a website and do $400,000 worth of sales. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
It's the event that makes it work in the way that it works. And that's the part that people, I think, really miss, is it's not just, and that's why some people struggle with crowdfunding, is they think it's just a matter of putting the book up and then making a few posts about it. Hey, we're there, man. No, I mean, you got to be there every day. Like, hey, here's the book. Here's the book. Hey, we got a variant cover. Hey, let's interview who did that. I mean, it's so time consuming. For people that do it professionally, like myself, like, this is my job. This is literally my job. So even talking to you, like, this is my job to talk about everything that I do, talk about the books. My job is to do this stuff. And if you don't get out there and make the connections enough to be able to do that, like with the toy, I mean, I went and met the guys. I met the guys from Loose Collector like 10 years ago. They made this figure for me. This is just a custom. I know it looks crappy because of the lighting. This is an old McFarlane Danger Girl toy that they molded into a critter toy. And I assumed way back in the day, like, this is the only critter toy I will ever have. And I wanted to have it, right? I was like, I want a critter toy. But now, because I had that connection with them so long ago and they knew who I was, they were paying attention and they're like, hey, I think it's time to do something. And I was like, yeah. So that's it. I mean, you can, now that's not to say you can't do comics as just for fun. It doesn't mean that comics aren't just passion projects. Some people just want to be able to say they put out a comic. 100%. I agree with you. Do your thing, get your comic out. everybody should have an opportunity to create in that capacity. But if you want to take the step upwards to make it your job, and actually make a business out of your art, whether you're an artist, a colorist, whatever, all of this has to go together to kind of take you out of the hobby side of it and into the working business side of it.
Right. And it's such a good proof of concept too. Like if you put your book on Kickstarter and you hustle your ass off like you do, and you don't make it, well, then maybe, it's time to go back and revisit what you've done and, hire a new editor, get a different cover, whatever you need to do. It's a good proof of concept and it lets you know where you're at.
Sure.
And it used to be, and you came up during this time where you'd go and you'd sit at a convention 3 days and why the hell didn't I sell more? And then you go to the next convention and why the hell didn't I sell more? And so now when people see you at a convention, they already know what they're getting because they've backed the Kickstarter, they've been involved in the event. And so now they see you at a convention. And how has that interaction changed? Because you're one of the more fun people to hang out with at a convention.
So I'm going to put that quote on all of my resumes and everything for cons. Kyle says that I'm one of the most fun people.
He's also very easy to find because he's a giant. He's
also true.
18 feet tall.
Yes. And my banners are even taller than me. So you can't miss me. The banners are 10 feet. I'm 6'4". So yeah. It's been interesting. I mean, we haven't done a lot of shows in the last few years. I purposely cut back shows, live feeds and live sales and so on Facebook and all that really changed the game for me. And so in 2019, I basically went from doing 20 shows a year to doing 5. And even of those 5, 3 of them, I was invited. I was an invited guest. Right. And so they comped me to be there. And so in 2019, that's kind of where I made my decision. Like I'm cutting back the shows unless somebody's comping me. And then I'm happy to come to their show and do whatever I can to make their show awesome. And then of course we came into 2020 and shows stopped anyway. So thank God I was already in that grind of, we're doing live shows instead of cons. But yeah, I've had convention people, promoters come up to me and they're like, hey, we'd like to invite you to come to our show. And I'm like, oh, cool. All I really need is like a corner. So I have 2 tables. I can do a great setup. And they're like, yeah. So the tables are like 1,000. And I'm like, wait, do you understand what invitation means? Invitation doesn't mean you're inviting me to pay for a booth. Like invitation is we want you at our show. We're going to comp you either a table or maybe pay for the hotel or something, just something to help out. And they're like, well, we do that for the movie stars, not for, and I'm just like, listen, partner, this is my Comic-Con right here. I turn on my phone and I'm in immediate contact with, 90% of my fan base, and I can sell them books, and I can do more on my phone than I often will do in an entire weekend at your show. Plus I don't have to travel. I don't have, I don't have the stress of the time. I don't have to put pants on. It's like, an invitation is great. I would love to be a part of your show, but an invitation means you're helping me be there. And oftentimes in that regard, if you're helping me be there, that means I can bring people with me. I've brought CB Zane to shows. Like Akron Comic-Con treats me like a freaking king, and I love them. And I brought CB Zane in to come down this last time. He had a great time. So we're going to do it again next year. Like we can level up together. But you have to understand that you can't nickel and dime everybody that you're trying to bring into your show. You have to see kind of what their value is. And if there's no value, then I understand. If I have no value, then no problem. But if you're coming to me and telling me that I have value because you want me at your show, then we got to figure something out. So again, long rant there, but cons are not the necessity that they once were for sales because of the internet. The internet has changed everything, especially live stuff. Because right now I could sit here and say, who wants to buy this Man Wolf? I got this Man Wolf for like $1. I mean, who wants a Man Wolf book? And we'll sell Man Wolf all day long.
Right. I'm sure somebody will claim it in the comments. It's true. It really is. And it's, I've kind of taken that same direction at conventions my own self, as I've divested my store. I no longer have a brick and mortar store. I'm all online. So I have less inventory because my inventory is more curated. So, if I'm gonna come to your convention, what can I do to get more people to come to my booth to buy my limited inventory?
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you know I'm gonna bring Tom Hutchison to your convention and he's gonna bring the giant, Big Dog Inc. stuff, what do you go do to help him? And the good convention guys are the guys who understand, there's benefit in your streaming. Can we share your streams on our page, and can you talk about our show on your streams, and we'll give you your booth for $50?
Yeah. Yeah, there are absolutely
for free, but I can give it to you for $50. Okay.
Yeah, and that's fine, right? If you need to show that you sold your booth, we can work something out. That's not a problem.
Right. Right.
And there are definitely promoters that get it. There are definitely show promoters that are like, dude, I get this. Let's rock and roll. And those promoters are fantastic, and I love them. So and I can't, even when I get invited to shows, sometimes I just can't do it because it's just too far away. It's like a 1-day show in Florida. It's like, no, I can't, there's no way I can do that. But I appreciate the offer, and we see what we can do. Sometimes there's shows that are like back to back. Like I could go to Florida, and then I'm on my way back, I could hit another show or whatever. But
you go to Georgia, and then
exactly.
North Carolina.
Sometimes you can make it work, but usually it has to be at least a 2-day show, or at least an easy drive. So, but yeah, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
So, all right, we've got a few minutes left. We can go as long as we want today. We've got all kinds of time, but I know you've probably got either footballs to yell at or books to write. Or, there's always you always have a project. So
listen, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. I made my pick earlier, but I told everybody. The 49ers are going to play this game, and they're going to shock you. Guess what the score is right now?
I haven't gotten an update. What is it?
7-0 49ers.
All right.
They've already scored. I'm telling you, Dallas fans, you need to sweat this game. I picked the Cowboys to win because I believe in the end they will find a way to win, but they're going to make you sweat.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a question that no other comic person is going to ask you, because I'm this guy.
Okay.
Should the Raiders have let the clock run out last weekend?
Yes, only because it guarantees your spot. But at the same time, because there was only 2 seconds left, even if the field goal didn't go through, it was still a tie. So it didn't really matter what happened. For them, it didn't matter. The only thing that they got out of the field goal was they got to say they knocked out the division foe. They got to say they got the win. They beat the Chargers. They put them out of the playoffs. That's a much bigger, just ego boost. Hey, we won, and we're screaming and we're yelling and yay. Now, had they gone in with a tie, they would not have played Buffalo or Cincinnati. They would have played a different team this week.
They would have played Kansas City.
Correct, which they'd probably still get ousted anyway. But so you would have had a different matchup situation. But I mean, had it been a flip situation with the Chargers and the Raiders, and the Chargers are about to kick a field goal, I would have been screaming, kick the field goal, put the Raiders out. So I bear them no ill will
for you.
I bear them for you. Yeah, I mean, I bear the Raiders no ill will on that decision at all. I totally understand it. That was a game unlike anything I have ever seen before, with all of those, that final drive of the Chargers with their 4th downs. It was just like mind-bendingly stressful.
They kicked us out of the B-dubs. We were watching the game of B-dubs, and they kicked us out of the B-dubs for yelling at the Raiders fans.
Oh my God.
And nobody else, very few people understand this. The Raiders fans were the kind of fans who will talk to you in the bathroom and try and proselytize Raiderdom to you. And so we were yelling at the Raiders fans, even though none of us cared. Like, we were just in for a good game. And they kick us out of the B-dubs, so I run home and to watch that drive on 4th down, where it's just 4th down conversion after 4th down conversion after 4th down conversion. And I'm going, oh my God, this game is going to be like never ending.
Yeah.
And then Comes down to 2 seconds left. I'm going, just let the clock expire. They've earned it at this point, right? Like, you gotta be like, okay, this is a draw. Let's just move on. But
yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. But if it was the Chargers kicking, I would have been like, yeah, put them out. Put them out.
Right.
I don't want to see them in the playoffs. Not because I don't think we can't beat them, but because I don't want them there.
Right. Yeah. That's fair. It's as an Ohio State fan, I would do the same thing if it was Ohio State, Michigan. Like, yeah, okay. Right move, wrong move, still a rival.
That's correct. That's correct. So. Yes.
All right, guys, I want to plug it a couple more times. In the comments right now, there's a link to the Kickstarter to get the 2 Critter figures that are behind us. Classic blue and modern blue.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You got
Sometimes
it right.
Directions are hard. Yeah.
You had it right.
So make sure you go over and check that out. There's a ton of cool stuff available on that Kickstarter right now. So Tom, this, I ask everybody questions they've never been asked before.
Yeah, go.
On live streams. And so this year's question is, if you're stuck on a desert island.
Oh my God.
And you could only have 1 book, 1 film, and 1 album for all time, what would they be, and why is the film The Eternals?
Yeah, it has to be The Eternals, right? It has to be The Eternals.
Right.
I mean, come on. How is it not The Eternals?
Right.
I don't read books. I
mean, even comic books?
Well, if a comic book counts, then that's fine. But I don't read. Normally, when someone says a book, they're like, oh, I want to bring the Da Vinci Code, or whatever.
No, one thing.
Gone with the Wind. One thing to read. That's really tough because I really don't even read much unless it's like I read history stuff because I like history stuff. But once you know the history, you don't have to read it again. This is really difficult. It's a very difficult question. The music would be probably like maybe the Top Gun soundtrack. There's a nice mix of upbeat and ballad and hopefulness. So if you're on a desert island, you can at least be collecting coconuts to Danger Zone. What's the other one? The book, the music, and the what?
A movie.
Oh, movie. Yeah, because there's electricity on the island and you can watch a movie on.
Hey, the professor is going to string together some coconuts and make a projector, and you're going to watch it with the Globetrotters. All right.
Oh man, I actually did a top 10. I did like a top 200 list of my movies one time, a long time ago, and I think, and this would not be appropriate for living on a desert island, but I as I recall, the number 1 movie was Jaws. Not exactly appropriate for the surroundings. Maybe you just bring The Empire Strikes Back, instead of Jaws.
I thought for sure you were going to say Castaway there for a minute.
I like Castaway. I do like Castaway.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. That's sort of the how-to. Actually, that's great. That's the how-to, right? Except you have to pray that you were in a FedEx plane that crashed so that you can get all the items. Otherwise, you're just hosed.
Right, and you've got a beach volleyball to talk to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, clearly, I would have this with me. That would be fine.
Right.
So I'd have Wilson.
It travels in your backpack. Yeah.
I'd have my Wilson. Yeah, that would be fine.
All right. So, with our last few minutes, I just want to give everybody the pitch on, Critter one more time, so we can plug the Kickstarter one more time, and then anything else that we should be looking out for that maybe we haven't talked about because I'm dense and forgot, or something. Anything else we need to be paying attention for and be putting in our phones to be like, remember to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, the Critter Kickstarter right now is for the toy. I mean, that's the primary thing, is the action figure. But within the campaign is also comic books. So if you've never read Critter before, if you're not a toy fan, you can get the first 4 volumes of Critter all together in one easy pledge, whether it's trade paperbacks, physical books, or digital copies. You can go either way. If you like the old variant covers, we have old variant covers available. If you like art for your wall, we have prints available. But the key is the toy. We're trying to raise enough money to actually create a toy that will be hopefully the beginning of a toy line for Big Dog Inc. I mean, that's really the goal, is like, let's do one. Let's get that proof of concept that we can do it. And then we can move on, make Joan of Arc, make Dorothy Gale, make Ursa Minor, all that kind of stuff. So that is the goal. And we're well there. I mean, we're basically halfway there. I mean, as of right now, it's 143 backers, 17,342. So we're basically halfway to the goal in, basically just over 24 hours. So we're in great shape. We are going to have some additional stuff coming in, add-ons, they call it. So there'll be some bonus merch coming through for the rest of the 27 days that we have left. So keep your eyes open for that stuff if you like that. In March, we begin the 10-year anniversary celebration for Ursa Minor, which is our horror title. It's vampires, werewolves. It's our lead character is Naomi. She's the last of the werebears. So this will be technically volume 3 that we're beginning for Ursa Minor. And we will have the previous 2 volumes available if you haven't gotten them before. And then May is Goth Day. National Goth Day is a real thing. It's May 22nd every year. We will be doing another one-shot Goth Day issue, which is basically taking all of the Big Dog Inc. characters from all of their worlds, because they don't connect. They're all separate universes, but putting them into one cohesive universe that is this Goth Day version. CB Zane's coming back. We already have the script started on that. Ursa Minor again in July, Ursa Minor again in October, and then Princesses versus Zombies will be back with a special issue for Princess Day, which is in November. So that's the general run of Big Dog Inc. for this year. Also, as we go into Ursa Minor specifically, there will be, as a stretch goal, there will be in each one, so 3 different ones, brand new titles added as stretch goals. So we're basically going to have like an 8-page teaser preview of brand new titles, 3 brand new titles. They're already underway as well. So basically we'll have a big stretch goal, like if we hit 20,000 and then we get to 30,000, we'll unlock a free book for you guys. It'll be a brand new title. So that is sort of one of the additional things that we're doing with Kickstarters this year.
So talking about that has triggered another question for me.
Uh-oh.
You love the holidays. So Goth Day, I know you did one for Swimsuit Day or Bikini Day or whatever it was.
Yeah, we had Bikini Day in 2019. Yeah.
Yeah. Princess Day is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get on that? Like, where did that, is that just a fluke or what happened?
It was a couple of things. It was, first, I got so tired of people doing the same shit over and over again. Oh my God, it's Valentine's Day. Oh my God, it's 4th of July. Oh my God, it's
right.
Whatever. I'm like, oh my God, that is some basic crap, guys. And so somehow I looked up, and I don't know why, but I looked up Goth Day for some reason. And I think I might have seen someone talking about it at one point, like, hey, Goth Day is coming. And I'm like, what? And so I looked up Goth Day, and it was May 22nd. And I was like, this is real? And so immediately I started to formulate something fun for Goth Day, which everybody lost their minds over. And then we did Bikini Day. We did a 24-hour Kickstarter campaign, and we sold out of the books in 1 hour. I was like, oh, okay, something's happening here. This is a unique thing. Then we did Princess Day and so on. So basically, instead of, oh, it's Star Wars Day, everybody does Star Wars Day stuff. It's like, you know what? You guys can have all of that. I am going to find ways for Big Dog Inc. to be associated with things that are outside the box, a little more fun, a little more interesting, a little more unique. I mean, that's what I do here, right? It's like, that's my whole point, is I want to be unique in what we do with Big Dog Inc., with our characters, with our stories, with our rationale for, whatever variants we're going to do. I want to make it unique and fun. In fact, I'll throw one more out at you. National Bird Day Bird, BIRD, National Bird Day. We will have something for Bird Day this year as well. So, just something else to be watching for.
For those of you out there watching, today is Appreciated Dragon Day.
Appreciated Dragon Day. Okay.
And tomorrow,
yeah.
on top of being Martin Luther King Day,
yeah,
is International Day of Italian Cuisine and Cable Car Day.
There you go.
Like,
there you go.
Every day has a thing, and
correct.
I love that. I love that Big Dog celebrates the odd ones. By the way, if Goth Day isn't the lead singer of The Cure's birthday, we've done it wrong. I will die on that hill.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. I mean, if you're gonna create, just don't follow other people. Do something that is your own thing. Find your own thing, because people that like that thing, whatever it is, they will gravitate towards. And I'm not telling you not to do homages. I'm not telling you not to do Friday the 13th Day. Like, go have fun with it if you want to do it. But if you can latch onto something like we've latched on to Goth Day, and you can really make it part of your brand, then you've done something truly unique, and that's a lot of fun.
This is a rabbit hole I should not have gone down live on the air. Thursday is Cheese Lovers Day, Disc Jockey Day, and Penguin Awareness Day.
Yeah. Well, we talked about these days a couple of years ago, and I was on a show with Jim Noble, and someone had said that there's a toast day. It's like the third Thursday of February or something like that was Toast Day. And immediately he and I were on this show like, well, you got to do like a thing about a toaster and blah, blah, blah. And he took it seriously and ran with it. And I was like, no, you do that. I'm not doing Toast Day. And so he did a show about a killer toaster, or he did a comic book about a killer toaster, and released it on Toast Day. Yeah. So, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
I love it. I love it. By the way, look at Friday. I think those of us who work at home will appreciate Fridays days. It's International Sweatpants Day.
Nice. Oh yeah, for sure. International Podcast Day. We all wear sweatpants. Yeah.
Right. No, it's also Hugging Day. That seems a little personal, but I can get behind sweatpants. So, all right, man. Thank you so much for being here. Tell people where they can follow you, where they can support you. Do you still do the Patreon?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a Patreon, Big Dog Inc. Patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. Super easy to find us there. We do lots of. We actually have to get back to it, but we're doing a lot of promotion now for those new 3 titles that we just talked about. We're going to be previewing all the Ursa Minor stuff. You get there's times we offer things that are only available to those Patreon members. We've got like 35 of them now. They get special offers, they get freebies. So yeah, patreon.com/Big Dog Inc. And then of course, Twitter and Instagram is BDI Comics. And then on Facebook, you can just look up the page, Big Dog Inc. Facebook page, or you can find me right here. Like this is your information for Facebook right here. And then I'm on the Comic Book Shopping Network. Comic Book Shopping Network, I do a show. We'll do a show tonight, 6:00 in about an hour. And then on Wednesday nights as well, we do a show 10 p.m. Eastern. So Comic Book Shopping Network too.
And Tom also is in charge of the Artist Alley Shopping Network. So make sure you check that out.
Correct. The sister group.
Mog Park will be here on the EXP Expo tomorrow doing a version of what she does on Artist Alley Shopping Network. So if you tune in tomorrow for that and like it, go join Artist Alley Shopping Network.
Awesome. Yeah, Mog's great. Great.
Yeah, we gotta love it. Thank you for another BDI show, Mike. Mike says.
Yeah, Mike.
And
awesome.
Mike and Trish, I appreciate you guys watching on separate platforms to help the algorithm. We could talk about that. I just want to throw out one more day for you because it's relevant to your Kickstarter.
Sure.
The 22nd, next Saturday, is Answer Your Cat's Questions Day.
Oh, jeez.
So what questions would Critter ask if she could ask questions?
That's right. Yeah. I'll have to be very aware of that.
So, all right, Tom, thank you so much. We will see you very soon. Congratulations on the success of the Kickstarter and on multiple anniversaries, and for being a football prognosticator on a level that has heretofore been unseen.
3-0 so far.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
All
we'll
right.
see everybody. Okay. So here's what happens, right? We, at 6:00, We have the gang from Fat Jack's Comic Crypt, Brendan and Al, with the Latchkey Manifesto here, live sale at 6 o'clock here on The Experience. And then at 8 o'clock, we're back with Joshua Starnes of Red 5 Comics to talk to him about what's going on with Red 5 and his book, The Box. So make sure you tune back in for those things here on The Experience. Make sure you head over to Comic Book Shopping Network and watch Tom's show. If not the Fat Jack show, be on Comic Book Shopping Network watching Tom's show. And then come back for Josh Starnes. That sounds like a good plan. So we will see everybody later on in the day. Thank you once again to Tom, and thanks to everyone who was here and for the support of his Kickstarter and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you all in a very little bit.